right, this is the most important thing I'll ever do on television. Let me help America right now. Today, for lunch, let me tell you what you do. You go to Chipotle, you go in line, you say, hey, let me get a small kid's chicken quesadilla. You tell them that first because it takes a little longer. While they're making that, you tell them you want this. You want a burrito. Light white rice, extra peppers and onions, skip the beans, half chicken, half steak, a little hot, a little medium, corn, sour cream, cheese, and then this is the key. Please mix that up. Then you say, while they're mixing up, if you don't mind, a side of guacamole, side of hot sauce with some chips. That order will be in New York City, $17.64. It will be the single best thing you eat all week.
That was yesterday.
Woohoo!
And when Nick Wright speaks, Chipotle answers. Chipotle heard Nick's order and tweeted, we took your suggestion. This order is spot on. Nick is famous!
Well, listen, first of all, Chipotle, that meant a lot to me. But the tweet that I followed that up with got me in some trouble with my partner, Chris Carter. Can I elaborate, or you want to elaborate? What you're mad at me about?
Yeah, you're the king of propaganda. Let's do this.
Okay, the king of propaganda. So I had someone ask me where this ranks in moments in my life, and I said Chipotle tweeting to me.
Someone didn't tell you that. You tweeted this.
I was asked a question that I tweeted. I said, listen, the best moments of my life, my kids, my marriage, this tweet, and LeBron's block on Iggy, and I included in there, I'm not quite certain of the order that I would rank these things. Chris Carter comes in this morning, says, oh, you know what was missing from that best moments of your life? Pairing up with me.
Man, well, I met you there in Las Vegas. That changed your life.
That is a good point.
I mean, where would you be shouting out to Chipotle from?
I mean,
small radio station in Houston?
I mean, hold on a second. I was already a minor television personality before I met one Chris Carter.
We love it. Minor
television personality.
We had to bring in the big
I was
dog
like a recurring character on a sitcom.
Jenna Wolf, today's show.
Yeah. By the way,
Chipotle.
How delicious does that look, Jenna? Be honest. And by the way,
more salsa, less guac. I would take the carbs away and take everything but the rice out of the burrito.
You're ruining it. You're just ruining it.
Bam! Oh. Take one of those.
Take one of those, Nick. Oh.
Hey, man, she knocked you into the next studio.
Okay.
No, you don't want to be over
there.
No,
kudos. Thank you, Chipotle. You literally made Nick's day. He walked into the morning meeting elated.
Now I just need one of them celebrity eat free cards, Chipotle. Holla at me. Go ahead.
Now you're going too far. You can afford it now. Time for some stories to start your morning.
Celebrity?
That's what they call it. I'm not saying I'm qualified. That's what they call it. That's what they call it. Hey,
self-described celebrity. Plenty of question marks around the guy you're watching right here, Teddy Bridgewater, and his surgically repaired knee. The former Vikings quarterback signed with the Jets this offseason. But don't ask Teddy about his knee. When asked if he was close to 100% and if he was going to participate in off-season workouts, Bridgewater said he wasn't comfortable talking about it right now. CC, what are expectations, fair expectations for Teddy Bridgewater?
I think it's fair to say that he would be the opening day starter. Like, regardless of what he says about the knee. Nick, you have a lot of confidence in who Teddy is, not only as a quarterback, but what he's got inside of him and his overall personality. That is a realistic goal. When the Jets start the season, Teddy Bridgewater is the starting quarterback for them. I think it should be brought out, and Nick, you and I talked about this. Teddy's never been an athletic guy. Don't get confused because he's an African-American. Right. Like, man, he is a pocket passing quarterback.
It's a key thing, because if people didn't watch Teddy Bridgewater at Louisville, and they weren't watching the Vikings his first couple of years, you have like unconscious biases. You see a black quarterback, you're like, man, his knee's torn up, that running ability's gone. Teddy never could run. Teddy was always just a prototypical pocket passer, except for the gloves. And so if anyone can deal with a knee injury, even a catastrophic one, it's his style of play. I believe he's better than Josh McCown, and I believe in the beginning of the year, at the very least the beginning of the year, he'll be better than whomever they draft with that third overall pick they traded up for. Yes. So I expect him to start and be the best quarterback on their team in 2018.
To the NBA now, DeAndre Ayton officially declared for the draft on his Twitter feed yesterday because everything sounds better in 140 characters. Ayton averaged 20 points per game, 12 rebounds in his freshman year at Arizona. Nick, how NBA ready is DeAndre Ayton?
Not as NBA ready as Kevin Durant was, but more NBA ready than the vast majority of one-and-dones. Like Durant, Melo were basically the most ready one-and-dones we've seen. He's, I think, more NBA ready than Lonzo. more NBA ready than De'Aaron Fox, and I know those are guards, more NBA ready than we talked about earlier. Miles Turner was one of the reasons people because of his body and because he is not going to be overwhelmed by the physicality of the league. In fact, he will come in as one of the most physically imposing centers in the league day one. It's very hard for any 19-year-old to be ready. He's as ready as just about any of them except for the very, very best.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to have the first pick, but he's definitely going to be in the conversation. And it'd be almost foolish not to take him, not knowing who's going to be there, but he is the best player to me in the draft. There is one player coming from...
Luka Doncic is Ayton will be the first American player taken. The only way he doesn't go number one is if Luka Doncic goes number one.
Yeah, people talk about his rebounding, people talk about his ability to play defense, but I like his ability to be able to score the basketball. We talked about the kid coming from Texas. He's turning pro. I believe he's a better prospect than him, is a lot better offensively, and I believe his upside, there's still room for his game to grow.
Absolutely.
Hey, Dwight Howard turned back the clock last night. He had 32 points and 30 rebounds in win over the Nets. The first 30-30 game in the NBA in 8 years. Only the second since 1982. Nick, how shocking was Dwight's performance last night?
Man, a 30-30 game is as shocking as anything in the NBA. I mean, there's been 156 of them, but 124 were by Wilt. So he had 124. The second most ever is Walt Bellamy with 4. Moses Malone had one in 82. Kevin Love had one in 2010, and that was it for the last 36 years until last night with Dwight. Dwight's quietly had a quality season on a mediocre to bad team in Charlotte. I've always been a Dwight Howard fan, even if his offensive game never developed the way it should have. But last night, I mean, rebounding has always been what he was best at other than defense. He showed it last night.
Nick, I'm trying to teach you this. Utilizing television, you can always either lift a guy up or you can tear a guy down. I'm going to choose to lift him up on this one.
Good.
11 offensive rebounds, probably the most impressive part of that. Now, typically an NBA game, Jenna, you're going to have about 45 to 50 rebounds. Now, dude grabbed 30 of them. That lets you know what type of night it was. Nick talks about the historic portion of it. Now, I always thought Dwight would be a better offensive player, but even at this stage of his career, it's nice to see him still be able to play at this level.
He had 30 rebounds. The Brooklyn Nets, the team they were playing, had 46. He almost out-rebounded the Nets.
Yes.
Crazy. Back to our top story now, LeBron James. Speaking of numbers, 35 points, 17 assists, no turnovers, a win over the top seed Raptors. Here he is after the game.
You told me a couple weeks ago that you thought your play was at an all-time high. You heard the MVP chants. What is your motivation year 15?
Do you believe me yet?
Do you believe me yet? Is LeBron right that this is the best he's ever played, Nick?
Offensively, yes. And all the numbers back it up as far as a field goal percentage, three-point percentage, assists per game. He is going to this year break the record he already holds 2 times over for most assists per game by any forward in NBA history. His player efficiency rating for his career was the second best in NBA history, just a tick beneath Michael Jordan's. And this year, he's shattering that career player efficiency rating, nearly a 29 this season. But what I'm most impressed by with LeBron was at the very end of last night's game, the biggest play of the game, one of those 17 assists. A pass to Kevin Love when they're up 1 in the waning moments of a huge comeback where the defense collapses. He's got a guy coming. He kicks it to a guy who's been back 2 games in the corner for a 3. And why am I most impressed by that play? That wasn't his most difficult pass. That wasn't the most wow play of the game. That is the play that makes LeBron, in my eyes, the best basketball player I've ever seen.
Why?
Because he has removed the ego and the machismo that we associate with all-time great players, where you have to take the last shot. No, you do not. You have to make the right play. And the right play is the one he has made every day for 15 years. Despite the criticism for it, despite people questioning whether or not he has this elusive clutch gene or whether or not he has the temerity in the big moments, he consistently says, hey, NBA Finals must win Game 3. Game CC you and I are at. What's the best play? Kyle Korver, left corner 3 wide open. I'm going to trust my teammates. That didn't work out for him. Doesn't mean he's going to change it one bit. Doesn't mean he's going to listen to the noise surrounding him one bit. He consistently makes the best plays, and just last night he did it with no turnovers to go along with it.
Yeah, it's where LeBron is right now. It was forced into him. They weren't expecting the Kyrie trade. Actually, they came to LeBron. LeBron said, keep the kid. We'll be able to work it out. But in the lateness of it, doing it right before training camp, it forced LeBron in. LeBron is handling the basketball more than any time in his career. Now, we know through reports and everything, LeBron's body is healthier than any other time, especially later in his career. He had some ailing back issues that he's been able to work it out with the training staff there in Cleveland. He believes that he's healthier than he has been in the year 15. And that's hard to do. Now, the circumstance for which now he is the primary ball handler for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So for me, that he adjusted his jump shot because he had an elbow injury. That forced a trade. So now he has the basketball. So now he's able to do the things that he's always wanted to do, and he has more freedom. Even though they've had guys in and out of the lineups,
right.
I like to see how he adjusted, a lot like Kevin Durant. We've never seen Kevin Durant play the type of defense that he played in Golden State. Until last year, it was forced out of him. And that's what you see with great players. They're able to grow their game when you don't have the team or you don't have the skill set on your team. How much can his game continue to grow? And we're able to see LeBron as a ball handler, primarily handling the ball, pick and roll. This is the best offense he's played, not only because he's shooting the 3 better, but because of his understanding and his ability to be able to get to the lane. And if he wants to finish above the rim now,
right,
because of his back and his back is feeling better, all those things came together. But it was forced out of him when they traded Kyrie and LeBron became the primary ball handler.
Do you think this is the way LeBron would love to play if he could set it up himself? Do you think he wishes he had someone else where he doesn't know that going into every single game that if he doesn't play lights out, they're not going to win?
Oh, I think every great player wants a lot of great players around them. LeBron does not want to have to score 37 points.
That's what I'm asking.
No,
Forget
he
the
doesn't.
other players.
He would love to have 17 assists every night. He does not want to have to score 37 points, but he had to last night. They played, I mean, that's, by the way, and I will be, in this regard, this part's on LeBron. Like, he was part of them playing no defense in the first half. He was part of them having to come back from 15 down. So, I mean, but he accounted for in the game the second most points of his career, points and assists. Counted for 80 points, assisted on 11 threes. That's the part of the game I think he takes the most pride in. That's why he always makes that pass to Kevin Love.
All right, moving on. James Harden is on track to win the MVP award. His head coach not only thinks he deserves that one, but one that doesn't exist. MVPE, most valuable player ever. Mike D'Antoni, whom I never make you laugh, so I think I'm just going to marinate in the moment for a moment, and now let's move on. Mike D'Antoni, who many people believe to be an innovational offensive mind, had this to say about James Harden.
Yeah, that's the best offensive player I've ever seen. It's just, he does that. And they were running guys to him. He just steps a little further back and makes a three. And I just, you know, the way he can pass to see the floor, get fouls, layups, floaters, maybe a lob, maybe out to the corner. It's just, he has so many weapons. And now he's shooting those step back threes. It's impossible to guard. You know, it's impossible.
All right, CC, how far off is D'Antoni on his assessment of James Harden?
Man, he said a lot of good things. The only thing he just got caught a little tripped up on his words. He's one of the best I've ever. That's all he had to say. He's one of the best I've ever seen, and he would have been okay.
Instead,
because the question would have been today: is James Harden one of the best offensive players you ever seen?
Yes,
absolutely. Yes, he is. But I've seen players. When I was in 9th grade, my brother got drafted by the Lakers. Their center was Kareem. Forget Magic. Their center was Kareem. Kareem, to me, is the best offensive player ever. You know the reason why? Because you still don't have an answer to his sky hook. Single cover, double cover, they're still, not to today. You still don't have it. He's the all-time leading scorer. He has the most unstoppable shot in the history of the league. So I don't know what D'Antoni's been watching, but I watch Kareem. Just go recent history. Kobe being Bryant. To me, Kobe is a better offensive player than Harden, and that is because of a couple different things. Number one reason, he can play in the low post. Kobe had so many moves in the low post, a lot like Michael Jordan. Also, Kobe Bean Bryant, through a lot of his career, he played above the rim. Harden will not be known as a player that could ever play above the rim. So, of course, we can pick a bunch of players that we believe are better than James Harden. The coach got a little caught up in the moment and that everything, because I don't think people realize how far and how time
long.
ever.
How big ever is.
Yeah, like how long that exists. Like that's from the beginning of time. So every person that ever dribbled the basketball, he's the best it's ever.
He's all caught up in the
I listen to what
Very
people say, and I just hold them to what they say, not to what I think they should say. That's what he said.
If we want to talk about evers you could assign to James Harden, we can do some of those. We could have the discussion. Is he the smartest offensive player ever? I'll listen to it. Though, I mean, he's so cagey about drawing fouls. This offseason, they changed the rules because of what Harden was doing as far as getting to the free throw line. With the rip through and with the tricking you into putting your hand out and then immediately going up. His shot selection, his durability, but he, of course, is not the best offensive player ever. He's not the best offensive player Mike D'Antoni has coached. He's not the best offensive player in the history of either of his franchises, I don't believe. I think Kevin Durant, at least up to this point, is a better offensive player. They played for the Thunder.
And there are a lot of people that would say in Houston, Elijah won. The dream shape.
Right. You can certainly make the argument. Now, here's a discussion that I think is a fair one to have that James might be able to accomplish. Could he become the second best player at his position ever? Right now in front of him, in addition to Michael Jordan, that's why I'm saying second best, Kobe Bryant and Dwayne Wade. If we look at their 4-year peaks, show it to everyone, because I think people will be surprised. Now, obviously, Kobe and Wade did it so much longer. But in their 4-year peaks, Harden averages more points than Wade, just short of Kobe. Way more assists than everyone, and a far better true shooting percentage, where you incorporate all parts of your shooting percentage into it, than either player. Harden, now Kobe continued this for quite some time. Now, I know people are going to say, well, count the rings with Kobe. For the record, in that 4-year peak for Kobe, he only won 1 ring and only won 1 MVP. D-Wade obviously never won an MVP. Harden's going to win one this year, might win a ring this year. We can have the discussion about how high up the shooting guard pantheon list, and I left Jerry West out just because of era, James Harden can get. I think he's already the 5th best shooting guard ever, behind West, Kobe, Wade, and, of course, Jordan. He might be able to pass those guys. We'll see it. The 4-year run he's on, 3 top 2 MVP finishes, most points created in the NBA 4 years in a row. Those are amazing things. But best offensive player ever, like, he's not the best offensive player in the league right now. I think he's behind LeBron and Durant. And he is, like, Cece's right. If he would have said one of the best offensive players ever. But he is, Cece, let me ask you this. He's as unique of an offensive player. I've never seen someone play quite like Harden.
No, that style is very unique. And, listen.
But almost to his detriment?
It's not to his detriment. It's just the ever question. I mean,
We're all caught up.
That's all it is. I mean, he said it because this is the good news is. The good news is Harden has played so well that we could even have a conversation today with some length and be able to add some people to it. So he's played that well. His coach got him into this predicament, though.
It's all his fault.
Of course.
And by the way, I just should note with the Kobe and Wade thing, that's purely offensively. Kobe was an amazing defender. Wade, one of the best shot blocking guards ever. Harden, obviously, on a different
What's the biggest knock on Harden? What's the biggest knock on his game?
His defense. I don't think there is a fair knock on his offensive game.
His biggest knock is they haven't won the postseason.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Hey, coming up, would the Giants be making a huge mistake taking Josh Rosen with the 2nd pick? Chris Canny is here to give us
Big man.
Next on First Things First.